Okay, so now I have some titles here: activities, hobbies. I encourage you to write what you'd like to write. Instead of activities, you might want to write skateboarding, or hobbies, baseball card collecting, or reading, or sports, your soccer team or something. But now we need to make these links, and we need to make pages to them. So I'm going to go to Notepad here. And I'm going to start typing and creating a page. What I might want to do is go to my file folder and open this in Notepad. So I can go first here, maybe just go File, Open One. Remember, I need to click All Files. I'm going to go to my index, and I can maybe copy the first part of it down to my name is Eric. Okay, so now I'll keep them consistent as well. Okay, and then I can close that out. Oh, I need to open it again here. No big deal. Kind of clumsy here, but we'll get this will smooth out because I have another way to show you as well. So I go to Accessories, and I'm gonna get a new Notepad, and I'm gonna paste that. Control V. All right, but I'll make some changes here. Instead of Eric's website, I'm gonna write, some sort of activity. And then I'm going to write here, instead of Eric Jarvis' site, I'm going to write favorite activity. Okay, and I can do some writing about that. Okay, so now I'm going to save this. This is the really important part. File, Save As. I need to save it in my Eric site. I'm going to call it Keep the File Names Short. So because you have to, doing HTML, you have to type it perfectly. So I'm going to write activity.html, and I've just made a web page when I click Save. Save. Okay, so I'm going to make 3 sites, one for activity. I can make one for hobbies, one for sports. So remember, you're doing whatever you like to do. But another way I can do this is I can simply save this one and make a change to it. Favorite activity. Instead of favorite activity, I'm going to say hobby. I'm going to call my title hobby as well. Hobby up here. And I do the old file save as. This is kind of a file management thing. If I click save, I'm erasing activity with this data. I don't want to do that. File save as. I'm going to call this one hobby.html and save it. Now I'm going to have one more sports. So I'm making sure that hobby is all saved. Now I'm going to make one called sports. My favorite sport. And I'm going to say sports. And I can change this all later. And save as, remember, very important, save as. This gets a little dicey sometimes. So sports.html. Okay, now let's take a look and see what I've done. I made a bunch of web pages right off the bat. So I'm going to look at the file. Document. There it is. Now I have all these web pages. Now it kind of makes sense why I call the main one index, because just for keeping things standard, that this is the first you're supposed to go to. So I made a bunch of websites. I have activity. I have hobby. And notice where I have the title, it says this up here. Okay. So now I have these web pages. I want to link to them and then link back to this one. So we're going to require some more coding here. So here we go. Notepad. I'm going to open up the main one, index. Remember, I have to say all files, index, and going to look for activities. Now the file name was activity, not activities. So I have to do A is for a link, it indicates a link, and then H reference is where I'm looking for it, equal sign. You should have a handout. And then you put in quotation the exact name of the file. You got to be exact, activity.html. If you make a typo, it won't work. So href equals, in quotation, activity dot html, and then close the quote. So now everything after this is going to link to activity, so I have to tell it to stop. So now I'm going to say stop A, which is the symbol for link. Okay, now just a couple things. This file has to be in the same file as my current page. If it's not, I have to do something like this. This is indicate for what I did with a picture. The picture's in a different folder, so I said images. I had to tell exactly where it was. Okay, and I think we could have done it without the quotation marks, but I think it's good practice to put it in because that's what I'm seeing HTML5 everybody do. But I don't have a closing quotation, so that wouldn't have worked. So let's try it. File, save, and then hope it works. And go to my page, refresh. That should turn blue and be underlined. It worked. Okay, now it's purple because I've already been to that page, and we're going to go over changing that later. So now when I click it, I go to my activity page. Now how do I get back? I have to make a link back to it. We'll do that later. I can use my back button. So hobbies, I want to go to hobby. I'll do another one, hobbies. So right in front of hobbies, less than, A is the link, and then the href equals, quotation. What was check the file name. Was it hobbies or hobby? It was hobby.html. And here we go. Hobby.html. Close the quote. New tag. I need to. Everything's going to be a link to that hobby page. So until I say end it here. Okay. Now let's go ahead and do sports as well. Ahref equals sports.html. Close the tag, and then right after sports, I need to say stop A. I might want to check. Did I call it sport or sports? Sports. Good. All right. So hopefully there's no typos. I'm going to click File, Save. Now I'm going to go to the page. Index. I already had it open. Scroll down. See, this works. Activities. Back button. Hobbies. It says hobby. Back button. Sports. Back button. Okay. So I did it. This is a link to a page already in my website. If I were to add a link to a site outside somewhere, like this website, I'd have to put in the entire URL, the entire web page, like I think you guys are already doing. So I'd have to have all of this in there, including HTTP. But this is for pages already just in my directory. So I made some links. We're going to move on and link back to the pages later.